Hello everybody. Hope everyone had a great happy new year. This is my first video of 2023. Hope it's going to be a good year, and yeah, I'm going to start off this 2023. This is my first video of this year. I'm kicking it off where I'm going to be ranking the studio albums of the Jimi Hendrix Experience. So there are 3 studio albums by this band, and you know, you gotta love Jimi Hendrix. You know, you can't deny his influence. He's one of the best guitar players of all time, and you can't deny that. He's just fantastic. So yeah, I'm not going to be counting stuff that he did after the Experience. I'm only just ranking the Experience albums, which to me one of the best power trios of all time. And you know, I think they are responsible for pioneering, you know, the heavy metal genre. You know, those riffs that Jimi Hendrix came up with. I mean, yeah, I think Cream had done it before them, but you know, these guys deserve credit. I mean, you just can't deny them. So yeah, I'm going to rank this in my order. Now, this was a bit difficult, even though there are 3 studio albums. You would think that kind of makes it easier to rank, but it really doesn't, because all 3 of these albums are absolute masterpieces in their own right. I love all 3 of these albums. So even the one at the bottom of my list is still fabulous. It's still an absolute masterpiece. So number 3 on my list at the bottom is Electric Ladyland from 1968. So this was the last album by the Jimi Hendrix Experience, and I love this album. It's got Have You Ever Been to Electric Ladyland? It's got Crosstown Traffic, Voodoo Child, All Along the Watchtower, House Burning Down, Gypsy Eyes, Long Hot Summer Night, Rainy Day, Dream Away, Burning of the Midnight Lamp. Just some brilliant songs on here. And The Gods Made Love, it's fantastic. I love this album, and it kind of pains me to actually rank this one at the bottom, because I love it. You know, all these albums are pretty much perfect for me. Number 2, I know a lot of people would have this as number 1, because this is considered one of the greatest albums of all time, and that is Are You Experienced? This was the very first album. It came out in 1967, and yeah, this is a masterpiece. This is a really important album in rock history. You know, this is one of these albums that, you know, if you're into rock music, this is an album you must hear. You know, it's a masterpiece. You know, it's a mixture of psychedelic rock and blues rock, and it's just fantastic. You've got Foxy Lady on here, Manic Depression, Red House, which is a fantastic blues number, Fire, Remember, Third Stone from the Sun, I Don't Live Today, Love or Confusion, Can You See Me, May This Be Love. So many classics, and of course the title track, Are You Experienced? So this is the UK version. The American release of this included Purple Haze, Hey Joe, and The Wind Cries Mary, which in the UK were only available as singles. But luckily though, this CD that I have, it includes those 3 singles as bonus tracks. So you know, it means that I don't have to go around looking for a compilation that has those, because those songs are available on a lot of the greatest hits albums, but it means I don't have to look for a greatest hits album to get those songs, because they're included on here as bonus tracks. And not only that, but as bonus track they also included the B-sides to those tracks. So you got Stone Free, which was the B-side of Hey Joe, which is an excellent song. 51st Anniversary, which is the B-side of Purple Haze, and you've got Highway Child, which was the B-side of Wind Cries Mary. So yeah, so not only were these singles not on the album, the B-sides were not included either. Although, of course, on the American version, the 3 singles that I mentioned, you know, Hey Joe, Purple Haze, Wind Cries Mary, they were on the American release of the album. And the American version also had a different cover. This is the UK cover as well. Whereas the US version looked not exactly like this, but that picture there was the photo that was on the US cover, and the US cover had it was yellow, and the artwork looked somewhat like that. It was more, yeah, the artwork was more psychedelic. I like this cover, but I'd say I prefer the American cover, just because the American cover is more iconic. Like when people show that out, the cover of this album, I think more people associate with the American cover. But I still like this picture. But yeah, I prefer it. But the cover looks somewhat like that, but not exactly like that. But you know what I mean. But yeah. Anyway, great album, and you can't deny this album's influence. It is a masterpiece. Which leaves me with Axis Boulder's Love. This is the second album. So yeah, this came out the same year as Are You Experience, 1967. And yeah, it's got very psychedelic artwork. Yeah, I think this is a bit of an underrated album. But there are some absolute classics on here. There's Little Wing, If 6 Was 9, Boulder's Love, which is probably my favourite Jimi Hendrix song. Ain't No Telling, Up From the Skies, Spanish Castle Magic, Castles Made of Sand, She's So Fine, One Rainy Wish. It's just, yeah. I mean, for now, this is my favourite Hendrix album, but any of these three could easily be my number one any day, because all 3 of these are masterpieces. But for now, this is how I'm ranking them as of today. But ask me again in a month or a few months' time, the ranking could change. But for now, this is my favourite. The CD's like that, but yeah, the cover is that way up. Yeah. I remember hearing Boulder's Love for the first time. That guitar solo at the end, it gave me goosebumps. I love it. You know, that swirly phasing effect at the end, which I think back in the 60s it was done by it was done on those real tape recorders. They would copy the recording onto the second tape recorder, and then they would play both of them back at the same time, but then they would press their hand down on the reel of the tape to slow one of them down. So one of them so it creates this delay effect. One track catches up with the other, and then it creates that swirly effect. Yeah, it's really creative the way they did it, because these days they create that effect by digitally now, but it doesn't sound very good when it's done on computer. It sounds much better on a tape recorder. That's how the Small Faces did it on their song Ichiku Park. But yeah, I love this album, and yeah, this is my favourite Hendrix album as of today. But yeah, let me know how you would rank these 3 masterpieces, because they are all marvellous pieces of music in their own right. Jimi Hendrix never did a bad album. He never did a bad song either, I don't think. Like even every song is amazing. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and I'll see you again in my next video.